Thank you. On behalf of the Wuipipe Band of Kumeyaay Indians and the Central Council of Tlingit and Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska, both traditional and historical indigenous representative institutions within their Aboriginal territories, I thank the President and the advisors for their support for the preparation of the Zero Draft Resolution. With a very few but important revisions, the text will be an excellent starting point for the beginning of intergovernmental negotiations and the culmination of decades of work by Indigenous leaders. My comments today are intended to ensure the document remains responsive to the 2014 World Conference Outcome Document and the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Declaration. The resolution to be approved will open the door to the important contributions Indigenous peoples' representative institutions will make to the United Nations by their enhanced participation. In the preambular paragraphs, we recommend replacing Indigenous peoples with Indigenous peoples' representative institutions in paragraphs 13 through 16. Regarding operative paragraph 6 on venues, we support option 1. The outcome document calls for participation in meetings of relevant UN bodies. Relevant bodies should include both the General Assembly and its main committees and subsidiary bodies as reflected in option 1, as well as to actually participate by making written and oral contributions and to exercise the right of reply where necessary. We recognize that some practical constraints on participation will be necessary because of time and space considerations. However, we are extremely concerned by and oppose attempts to limit the ability of Indigenous peoples' representative institutions to participate on their own behalf by prescribing a regional formula for seating and speaking slots as indicated by operative paragraphs 12C and 12E. Operative paragraphs 20 and 21, which propose that the selection body seek commensurate regional representation in making its accreditation decisions, are unacceptable for the same reasons. Participation of eligible Indigenous peoples' representative institutions cannot be denied because of a baseless idea that equal numbers admitted for enhanced participation somehow represents parity. It does not. Nor may Indigenous peoples' representative institutions be represented by any other Indigenous peoples but themselves. The new selection body duties should be limited to impartial evaluation of all applications against objective, measurable standards to determine whether the applicant may exercise the opportunity for enhanced participation. No reasonable argument is available that would credibly lead to a geographic balance as a basis for accreditation or organizing the work of enhanced participation. There simply is no merit to any argument that would lead to exact parity by region in this process. We strongly recommend that any reference to commensurate representation across regions, such as that in paragraph 20, be deleted. Exclusion of Indigenous representative institutions eligible for accreditation for any reason is unjustified. We support an accreditation body comprised of experts serving in their personal capacity. The committee must include or formally consult with leaders of Indigenous peoples' representative institutions in this process. We oppose options proposing to use existing UN bodies in accreditation in any way. Existing bodies and mechanisms, as well as a body composed solely of state representatives, would lack the requisite expertise and would certainly politicize this process. Reference to the need for the committee to be balanced by considerations for gender, youth, and persons with disabilities is also inappropriate and misguided as a paternalistic measure blind to the democratic representative process. Finally, we support consideration of the listed relevant factors for the selection criteria. We recommend adding to the list that the representative institution seeking accreditation must be a legitimate representative institution that is an entity that is duly constituted by and accountable to its people. However, we oppose the requirement for a particular form of government, such as the reference to a democratic election in 37B, which would be unfair to indigenous governments representatives appointed by traditional authorities. On behalf of the Woipai Band Akumia Indians Chairman Robert Pinto Sr. and Central Council of Clayton Haida Indian Tribes of Alaska President Richard J. Peterson, I thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the consultation today. Yatuwu Klatsin A. Ganoshish Ankain A.
Thank you for your statement. And next